Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. And we get a deluxe crash on the Tam Tam for this one because it's our grand finale. The grand finale of the Schubert stuff. And, I have a lot of Schubert stuff. Well, this one has the orchestral music, this pile that we're finishing with, our razzle-dazzle finale. And it has some vocal music, some remarkable vocal music, which we'll end things with a flourish, because you really should end Schubert with some vocal things. Symphonies, we have piles of symphonies here. One of you pointed out, as I mentioned before I deleted the comment, that I have too many Schubert symphonies, and I spend too much time talking about them, and it's wrong. Wrong. Evil, bad. Yeah, well, that's okay. Get a life. So, we have Skrovichevsky doing Schubert 5, the unfinished, and Rosamunde incidental music with the Minneapolis Symphony, now renamed Minnesota Orchestra, we are told on the back of the box. Now, this is a Mercury Living Presence recording, and when these were being issued by Wilma Cozart Fine, the original producer, I collected all of them, as so many of us did. Then, of course, they all came out in big boxes. And the big boxes recoupled things. I mean, Wilma always made these enormous couplings. I remember, with like tons of music, I remember how proud she was when they issued the Paul Paret stuff. And one of the couplings was, what was it? It was like Rachmaninoff 2 and Franck D minor or something like that. It was like just nuts. 80 some odd minutes, and she was like so proud of herself because she was giving people value. Then they devalued everything and stuck them in those cubes. Well, it's okay. So I kept the individual releases, as all of us would have, I'm sure. Then we've got Schubert 8 and 9 with Lenny in New York. Now, we talked about his Concertgebouw remakes on Deutsche Grammophon, which are phenomenally great. They really are. And these are hardly less so. He was a really good Schubert conductor because he was a really good Haydn conductor, and he just got that style down very, very well. Tasteful and exciting and terribly underrated because, he was not one of those, European schlub people who were supposed to do Schubert, but he did it really, really, really well. Speaking of European schlub people doing Schubert, we have the complete symphonies with Kertész and the Vienna Philharmonic. In this handy-dandy little package. Lots of people did Schubert cycles, and they kind of get ignored often. Riccardo Muti's Schubert cycle no one paid attention to. There's just a bunch of Schubert cycle things. There were some famous ones, and then there was like everybody else. And this was fun to have. He did great Dvorak, and Kertész was a fine conductor. He did the Brahms symphonies also in Vienna, very good cycle. So that's good. That's a keeper. And this sucker is, look, George Szell and Colin Davis. It's the Szell remake of the Schubert 9th, which is really just about as good as his first one on Sony. He was just amazing in this piece. And then you get a couple William Tell overtures, a couple Rossini overtures, William Tell and The Thieving Magpie, and Beethoven's 7th, and more Rossini overtures, all with Colin Davis and the Royal Philharmonic. It's a great Beethoven 7th. That was his famous one. It was one of those recordings that sort of put him on the map as a major conductor. It was very well received, and it still sounds great. Bruno Walter, Schubert 9, the great, with the Columbia Symphony Orchestra and the incidental music to Rosamunde. I mean, it's a good performance. It's not the most thrilling in the world. It's not one of Walter's greatest late recordings, but it's, it's Bruno Walter. What can you say? That was part of the Bruno Walter edition also that I, came in like slipcases and all that. And I spread them out amongst the composers so I could find it more easily. Now, what the heck is this? Oh, Biddulph. Schubert 8 and 9 with his March Militaire No. 1 with Mengelberg and the Concertgebouw on Biddulph, transferred by Mark Obert Thorne, 1997. Wow, this is really great. Biddulph did wonderful, wonderful work. The Biddulph guy, if I'm not mistaken, and if I am, I apologize, but I got arrested for art forgery or dealing in stolen art or something. there was some really shady thing going on with Biddulph, and the label vanished. But then it sort of came back. It's sort of back as a label in CDR releases and things. If I may have this all mixed up, so if I did, I just apologize right now to the Biddulph person. But no, I think that's what it was. There was some really interesting thing going on there. So here we have, has nothing to do with Schubert. We have Mengelberg and the Concertgebouw, and these are famous recordings because they're Mengelberg and the Concertgebouw, and he's weird and he does things, and I'm not too crazy there, but sometimes. What's this one? Oh, the complete Rosamunde incidental music, including the overture to the Magic Harp, which somehow became the overture to Rosamunde. And you've got choruses and things like that, and the ballet music, and the unfinished. This is with Afia Heines, the contralto. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to worry about it. The Netherlands Radio Chorus, the Concertgebouw, and Haitink. I got this because it's the complete Rosamunde incidental music, which was very hard to find back in the day. And I was very, very pleased that Haitink did it. And what's this now? Klemperer. These are first authorized release, Bavarian Radio. Mendelssohn's Scottish Symphony with the Klemperer coda. He diddled the coda. And the unfinished, which is very, very good. There's lots of Klemperer unfinished ones around. The most famous one is probably, aside from his studio recording, the Vienna Philharmonic one in that Klemperer DG Vienna Phil edition. We're right at the end of the slow movement. You hear the voice going, schön, beautiful. But we think the voice is Klemperer, probably. So there we go. There's that. And then we've got, let's see, the Schubert Symphony Cycle of Carl Bohm with the Berlin Phil. And this came in a box, remember? These are separates. They were all together in the box. I threw away the slipcase of the box. So this is like another beautiful Schubert cycle. Bohm was a great Mozart conductor. He was a very good Schubert conductor. He does a good job with all this stuff. His ninth was always lively and exciting. Not as exciting as his Staatskapelle Dresden performance that we talked about in the last video, and one before that too. But it's another good Schubert cycle that was since re-released in a little box and all that stuff. Then we've got the Dutch Masters Edward van Beinum Schubert set, Symphonies 3, 6, and the Unfinished, with the Concertgebouw from 1955 and 57. Beautiful, beautiful mono recordings. Beinum was just an amazing conductor. Of course, now there's a big Beinum box with all this stuff in it. But back in the day, you had to scramble. You got it where you could get it. And so I got it, and I kept it. And I'm still keeping it. And last but not least, we get another one of these because it's the end. Yes, absolutely. The incredible ending. This is the complete part songs for male voices in 5 volumes. I have all 5, sung by Die Singphoniker on CPO. There's tons of these things. There's 20, 18, 21, and 18. So if we add that up, that's 100 less 2, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. So it's like 98 of these suckers. He just churned them out. They're wonderful. They're fun. They're enjoyable. They're delicious. Some of them are really serious. Some of them are like 6 minutes long and 7 minutes long. And oh my God. Do I play them every day? No. Do I play them every month? No. Do I play them every year? Nah. You do get the Gesang der Geister über den Wasser. Yeah, that's famous at least. That's 10 minutes. Oh my God. Gorgeous stuff. Really it is. Now, again, these are sort of library editions that I hang on to for that reason. It's not that I don't love listening to part songs for male voices. Who wouldn't want to spend the rest of their lives doing that? It's just that you only have so much time in your life. And hearing all this stuff, I can say that I've heard it, and I can say that it's splendid, which it is, and I'm hanging on to it, and I'll dip, right? That's what we all do, right? We dip into this stuff. So this is the 15th video in the Schubert series That's a lot of music, friends. A lot of music, and you could spend the rest of your life just listening to Schubert and nobody else. But we want to be able to dip, right? We want it accessible. That's the reason for all this stuff. And I hope you've enjoyed this little trip through my Schubertian accessibility fetish. Keep on listening, and thanks for joining me. Take care.